Welcome to another episode of
Tell You First.
So, today we're going to be talking about something that, especially in this time of Singapore's history, is very exciting. Is Singapore football.
Yeah.
And we have with us a long time, football supporter, football fan, football advocate. Also advocate of all things that involve a lot of 55,000 people at National Stadium.
Wearing red and white.
Wearing red and white.
Yeah.
And it is second time, Tell You First guest, Mediacorp presenter, 13-time NDP host, Joakim Gomez.
Hey, wow. I love giving intros to people, but the way you did it, thank you, man. Now I feel special for a while.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's...
Are you just rah-rahing him because NDP, you feel like you need to encourage him?
It
I
means...
couldn't tell the sincerity of that.
It means a lot to me, man, NDP. It's the world. I'm not a sports person. I have no SEA Games. I have no Olympics. I have no gold medals, but to me, my Academy Awards or my Hong Sing Ta Chiaos or my gold medals are the NDP plugs I get for those years that I do it. I treat them with care. So I'm putting them very nicely on the shelf and display it properly.
Yeah. So every year there's a plug when you do it.
Yeah, it's like a thank you for being part of NDP. Insert the year here. Joakim Gomez, Artist Committee host. Wow. That's my Academy Award and I'm very happy about it.
But you see, you're not a sports person and all, but you run a lot. You're so vocal about sports. Clearly, there's passion there.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like a professional or elite runner. I'll just call myself a running enthusiast at best. And this is really me sharing how I run and how I train for the marathon. I'm saying this works for me. It might not work for you. I'm not a professional. You can try my method. If it doesn't work, try someone else's. And then you get all your elite runners like Soreyong, who's just talking calmly while running a 2-minute pace. I'm like, how do you do that? Or people like Ben Koo as well, even Vanessa Lee. When they share their programs, I actually listen. And I said, I'm going to try that tomorrow and see what happens. See what it will for me.
But I also know that, you're a running enthusiast. Would you say you're a football enthusiast or a football diehard fan?
Okay. See, diehard fan is, you'll be so delusional about your favorite team that you will still think they're great. I would think I'm a realist. Because I'm a Manchester United fan. You would know this already. And I could always go down the history book saying, we've won the treble, we've had Rooney, Ronaldo, Van Persie and all that. But let's be honest, it hasn't been good for us the last 12 or 13 years. And sometimes, and I know diehard Manchester United fans really hate this, but if, for example, we play a great Liverpool side or a great Arsenal side and they beat us, and I say things like, we deserve to lose. Hey, Joakim, how can you say that? How can you betray your team? I'm like, did you watch the same game I was watching? Especially the 7-0 game, for example. So I think I'm a realistic football fan at heart. I'm not afraid to say my team was crap for that game. The Bournemouth game, for example, the one that ended 4-4. All I can say is I'm glad that my team isn't made up of criminal lawyers because we can't defend.
I see.
Think about it.
But okay, so you're a realist when it comes to club football. What about the national team? That one different.
National, as in for Singapore? Or for the World Cup? Okay. National football team, that one
not real.
No, it's not saying not diehard or not what. That one, I think I approach it from a different lens because these boys are representing our flag, even our women as well. Yeah, we might not be doing well, but still, let's show them some love because they are the ones representing our nation. And look, man, we all know, and you've had Gavin on Yala Butt for a couple of times already, and he alone can tell you the amount of pressure he faces as the current manager and even as a player and how easy it is to criticize our local team, especially our national team. And we always compare our dream team as compared to this standard, can it work? And then now with the qualification for the AFC, the Asian Football Cup in 2027, it's nice to see the sentiments changing. And the comments have been very kind. But you'll get 1 or 2 or 3 comments saying, celebrate for what? You go to the AFC, confirm lose everything. You're playing against the best of Asia. But hey, our boys made it. Let's just support them. It's like New Zealand in the World Cup. The entire country was so happy. They went there, they had an unbeaten run. They're still so happy. You know what I mean?
So you're a diehard Singapore football fan?
I think it's my civic duty to be a diehard Singapore fan, just to show that, hey, let's go support our boys. Let's put whatever differences we have aside and just hopefully the next football game at the stadium, gather there and support them.
Wow,
Yeah.
I feel like I got a front row seat to NDP Joakim.
No.
I felt that fervor, the Singaporean fervor.
Anything
like,
involving our national flag. I'm a proud Singaporean. I'm a proud
So
Singaporean.
okay, so then do you have any recollection? You know, you brought out the dream team. Today's episode is going to be about the dream team and certain things that I myself wasn't aware of when I started researching for this. Like you were a young man when the dream team
94, I was 6.
6.
Yeah,
Six,
so
okay.
old enough to understand what football is.
Yeah.
Maybe not old enough to understand all the players, because till this day, I'll recall a few like David Lee. I don't know whether were they already part of the team or was it after that Lim Tong Hai,
Yeah.
Super Sub Stephen Tan, Sundramuthi, Fandi Ahmad, Abbasad. These names you'll recall. But I'm sure there are others as well. Even the coach, what's his name?
Douglas Moore.
Douglas Moore. Okay, I almost said something white bread. I don't know why I thought of that.
Oh, that one, I think a few years later.
Yeah, there you go. See,
yeah.
so a bit. Need to make sure my memory is correct about
But
it.
would you say you understand the significance of like what that team did and
Well, back then, 94, I remember this at my godparents' place. Whenever there was a game, they'll always put it on. There were nights where I think all the neighbors will be watching the same game and you can hear everyone cheering in unison when Singapore scores.
Yeah.
So the fever was alive.
it was real.
And there were times that, hey, Godpa, bring me to the stadium to watch. And I think I remember my first national game was at the old stadium, which I really missed, the national stadium, in the year 95, and the atmosphere there was amazing.
Insane,
man.
yeah.
It was insane.
But that means you could recall what was happening like in the league, in the tables and
Okay,
everything,
that
or-
one I didn't really understand.
Okay.
For me, I mean, I didn't know what position Singapore was in or the struggles they had.
Yeah.
But the moment they were on TV, watch. I want
okay.
Singapore to win. I hope
Support,
they
yeah.
win, yeah.
And
Got it,
Terence,
got it.
for you? What's your recollection?
This was entirely a part of my childhood, and I was already old enough by that time to understand what position Singapore was in, to be disappointed when we lost, to blame people, to blame the referee whenever we lost. I was already the cynical boy at the age.
Did you see any games live?
I did. I watched Singapore versus Sarawak. John Hunter from Sarawak once. And with some friends, yeah.
I never got a chance to watch it, but watch it live. But I used to watch it on TV a lot.
Yeah.
And
So we are the two diehard fans, and you are not, lah.
Hey,
we want to watch
you
live.
have to stop this false equivalence that you don't watch in person means you're not diehard. Hello, I used to watch the games. I started playing football around that time also. Were you playing football, Terence?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, is it? You were?
I was.
Okay, cool. Good for you.
I think all of us were like, back then, what was this football camp, like ES4E, remember?
What was that?
This football camp in primary schools, they'll have it, ES4E.
okay.
No, I didn't know.
Really?
That was
Okay.
after me, probably, yeah.
Probably after us. You young man, lah. Young man. So okay, like you mentioned just now that maybe what was going on in the league and the significance and all, you were not the most aware, right? Do you know? Basically, Singapore had been playing in the Malaysia Cup since 1921.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
makes
if
sense.
I would ask you, how do you think Singapore did from the 1920s all the way to the 1980s in terms of like how well they perform in that competition?
Wow.
Must have been, I think, pretty decent, right? Because if you're talking about 20s, and I'm thinking that back then, we had it was much easier for players to move between Singapore and Malaya and everything. And so we would have players come to Singapore and play for our team and all.
I was going to ask in the 20s, did we have the British playing for us as well?
I mean, perhaps, but if they played for us, they would have played for Malaysia also.
There we
Oh,
go,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, all equal lah. But basically, from the 1920s all the way to the 1980s, Singapore won the Malaysia Cup 24 times,
24. Jesus.
and they were second only to Selangor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's where you hear, about the Joakim songs.
Yes.
And that generation, Singapore was pretty good lah. And I mean, that's why, like, I grew up not understanding that. I just know that, okay, Singapore was playing in Malaysia Cup, 94 was a highlight, and after that, S-League started and we got kicked out and all that. But in the lead up to 94, right, it was very interesting lah. So what do you think, like, happened in the 80s then?
The 80s?
Yeah, in the lead up. Like, so 94, we won Malaysia Cup. 1920 to the 1980s, we were like second most number of Malaysia Cups. 1980s, what do you think happened?
We are more focused on building MRTs than a football team.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, something happened in the 1980s where we won the Malaysia Cup in 1980.
Yeah.
But in the decade after that, right, for some reason, kind of like the quality went down. And I mean, by then, we already had a national stadium. The capacity was 55,000. And I mean, Malaysia Cup was a big part of Singapore culture. Like, you said your godparents, they would put on the game. That was in the early 90s.
Yes.
But even the 80s, 70s, the weekly conversations revolved around that. But in the 1980s, it was known as the barren period. So they would get eliminated from the Malaysia Cup and didn't do well in the league. So basically, there was a Malaysia Cup and a Malaysia League. So, I mean, for those listening who might not be aware, the league is where they play every other team in the league. And unlike the European leagues, the leagues actually started around April and ended around September or October.
Okay.
For European countries, it's the flip.
Yep.
That's why the Malaysia Cup finals are always at the end of the year. So they didn't do well in the Malaysia Cup, and apparently the players started feeling increasing pressure as the results worsened. The crowd sizes dwindled. Like if you see the crowd sizes in the early 80s, they were like full stadiums. But by the late 80s, early 90s, it was a lot smaller. Yeah, and I never recalled that because I think when in 1994, I only started watching football, I think in the 90s, like early 90s, because I was like 6. Before that, I didn't play. I didn't watch.
Not to compare, but this sounds like Liverpool in the 90s and early 2000s and the current Manchester United team. I know the barren period and all that, which is quite sad. But was there a reason? Like, is there like a scientific reason on why Singapore suffered like that then in the 80s?
No. I mean, whatever articles, whatever reports I could find, it was just talking about the quality declining. And I mean, they didn't say it, but it feels like if you look at other things like, even Bugis Street, we did another episode about Bugis Street and how in the 80s it kind of like was kind of made way for the MRT development, right?
Yeah.
You can imagine during the 80s when Singapore, we had secured independence, had some grounding. Focus was on development. And the thing is, up till 1980, when we won the Malaysia Cup, it was actually with Fandi Ahmad and David Lee. They were both part of the team. And Fandi scored the winning goal.
You're talking about in which
1980.
The 1980.
1980, they won the Malaysia Cup.
Wow.
And then after that, Fandi did well enough to go overseas and play in Europe. And that was when he famously rejected the 3-year contract from Ajax.
Yeah.
And he played came to Indonesia.
Groningen, is it?
Groningen.
Yeah. For Groningen.
So the low point came in 1992. Do you all remember what happened in 1992?
1992.
Yeah.
No, not exactly.
Do you recall?
I was 4.
You're 4.
Okay.
I might not have understood what was going on.
Diehard fan.
Were there match fixing allegations or
No,
something?
the match fixing actually came
That was
later.
after, I think. Yes.
Yeah. But in
was big
1992,
news, though.
which I totally did not know, Singapore got relegated from the first division to the second division.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, when you say first division,
Yeah.
you know how EPL has the Premier League?
Same thing.
And then Championship?
Yeah. So
Oh.
they went from the first league to the championship.
Okay, all right.
So you imagine they were playing Malaysia Cup, and the Cup and League are different. Cup is like a playoff game
Yes.
where the different teams across the different divisions can play. League, if you're in the top tier league, you only play with teams from the top tier league.
Yeah.
1992, by the end of the season, Singapore was relegated. Yeah, and this is 2 years before the Dream Team, no?
Yeah.
So they were relegated. And when you hear people like Malik Awab, who's one of the legends of Singapore football, he was saying at that time, Singapore, we already had a reputation of being a good team. So it was humiliating to be relegated. So attendance dropped even further. Matches were like hardly ever played in front of a big crowd. What do you think happened immediately after that? 1992, you imagine Singapore had been a traditional heavyweight, declining for about 10 years. 1992 got relegated. What do you think happened, Terence?
Multi-ministry task force was put together.
Okay, good answer. Joakim?
The era's version of Forrest Lee invested into the team, is it?
Oh wow, billionaire coming.
Yeah.
No. So basically, the GM of FAS, Patrick Ang, and this is what made this whole thing so fascinating. They like football. I mean, like even now it was not seen as the most lucrative, right? But the culture around Singapore, around football, when you hear all the legends talk about what was different back then, like every kid played football. Like, we just said, right?
Yeah.
All three of us, of course we play football. I don't think you would say the same about kids now. right? You
yeah.
would see a kid, you won't say, of course you play football. You got so many options to choose from. Last time, of course you play football. So what the FAS seem to do is they realize this is the lowest point. We need to change it. And Patrick Ang, who was the GM of FAS, what do you think was the first thing he did? If you to harbor a guess.
He signed foreigners to the team.
Yes. One of the things that was
Okay.
done, they brought in 3 foreigners: Abbas Saad, Michael Varna, and Zhang Jung.
Yes, Jang Jung. I remember
Zhang
that
Jung,
name. Yeah.
everybody remembers Zhang
Yeah.
Jung. Of course, everybody remembers Michael Varna also for different reasons
Yeah.
And Abbas Saad, he's a legend. And we already had Alistair Edwards. So that was one thing. They brought in foreigners. The other thing, which was also something I didn't know, Fandi Ahmad in 1992, right? He, like what I said, he was playing abroad. So from 1981 to 1987, he was playing for Ajax, Groningen. He went to Indonesia. 1987, he came back to play for Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So in 1992, before the 1993 season, apparently Patrick Ang himself called Fandi and told him, Singapore football is shit. I'm paraphrasing. Can you come back and help?
Oh, wow.
And he came back
Wow.
in
national
1993,
service.
which I did not know.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then you apparently also Fandi Ahmad told him, Patrick, wherever I go, I win the league and the cup. Are you all ready to really do what is needed lah? Because when he was playing for Pahang in 1992, so he came back in 1987, played for Kuala Lumpur FA. He moved to Pahang, and in 1992 he was part of the team that won the Malaysia League and Malaysia Cup.
Wow.
So he just won the year before, and yet he came back to Singapore.
Wow.
Yeah, so he came back, was made captain. They brought back Sundram.
Yeah.
Sundram, who in 1992 was with Kedah, same thing, they brought him back. And the forward line was basically Abbas Saad, Sundramuthi, Fandi Ahmad, Alistair Edwards. And they were known to be pretty killer lah.
So the context of this is like, that means Singapore players were plying their trade for other Malaysian teams.
Yeah, which is also, you think about it in this day and age,
Yeah.
you cannot fathom.
I mean,
that
okay,
happening.
I can understand if Singapore is not in the league or something. But if Singapore is in the same league, then they're playing for a Malaysian team against Singapore.
Yeah.
I guess that time it's
club,
like club
football, but just that Singapore is a country / club.
Yeah.
But it was still possible because even Fandi Ahmad, golden boy, helped Singapore win a Malaysia Cup. In 1987, he was playing for Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
In 1992, he was playing for Pahang. But it didn't seem like he was vilified lah.
But it means it was a bit of like a brain drain, right? Almost where the talent was going elsewhere and not staying in Singapore.
Yeah, and
but then what about the new FAS president? What about it that convinced them to come back?
So everything I gather, because again, there's not much documentation about the master plan. There was no task force lah. Unfortunately, there was nothing to see, any speeches and all. But the more you look at it, the more it felt like the FAS and I guess the government saw the need to have a strong football team.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, you know what? We just got relegated. We need to make amends. We need to bring in talented foreigners. We need to bring back our stars. We need to build a compelling enough case to attract these people here. And somehow they did lah.
I can just so imagine Patrick Ang with the phone, Fandi, your country needs you. Come back, assemble the Avengers.
And he's like, you know what, I come back, and you see clips of him landing at the airport. People were mobbing him because he was already a star by then. And up till today, he's still Singapore's most successful footballer by a mile.
Yeah.
He almost signed for Ajax and almost played again alongside Marco van Basten.
Wow.
Under Johan Cruyff.
Crazy.
But he said no because he was homesick. So he came back to Indonesia. And I think he said one of his biggest regrets was not signing for Ajax.
I'm sure.
I mean, on hindsight now lah.
On hindsight. So with all that, what do you think happened in 1993?
What do you think happened as in with the team?
With the team?
I did not live up to the dream team expectations. I mean, the long story short, right?
Okay, that's your answer, Terence.
Did they go back to the main league?
Yes, Joakim, which is what I would expect from a diehard fan, unlike Terence.
I mean, the way you ask it kind of more or less
what
set the
happened in
premise
1993?
there.
Like a lot of things.
Guys?
I turned 11 years old. What? That happened in 1993.
Well, that was a horrible answer, Terence, because in 1993 they cruised through the second division and ended up getting promoted by the end of the season. And the term the dream team, right, actually came about in 1993 and not 1994. Who do you think gave the name the dream team?
I mean, the Straits Times.
Correct lah, the media. I don't know whether it's the Straits Times or not lah.
I mean, it had to be them lah. There's no other media
What
back then,
media are you
right?
talking
I mean,
about?
it doesn't need to be media. It can be the people what.
The new paper.
See lah, you all
No, I was going to say maybe I
lah.
thought some minister was credited for that dream team name or what. No.
Guys, just now you say task force. Now you say minister must give name.
Who was the minister of sport back then? I also wonder.
No one knows.
Was it Mabautan?
Actually, you might be right.
I think it's Mabautan.
Yeah, Mabautan.
Possible.
Possible.
But it felt like he was not maybe the one christening them with a name.
Yeah.
It was the
But
media.
I was always like, even as a kid, I also wondered who actually called them the dream team
Yeah.
from the
It
start.
was
I never really figured it out.
Yeah, it was the media because the US dream team for basketball was in 1992. 92.
Yeah, the Olympics.
Yeah, so it was an offshoot from that lah. Probably.
That makes sense. Yeah.
US dream team. What's our dream team? This
Yeah.
one they were playing them well in 1993. I think that's when Sundram scored the bicycle kick.
Yeah, I remember
You know,
that.
that
Was
was
it the
in
year they had the
1993.
song as well?
Yeah.
there some song on- oh, no.
93 not yet. 93 not yet.
Okay.
So they earned the promotion back in Division 1. So I'm going to ask another question. What else do you think happened in the world of football, Singapore football in 1993?
93.
Yeah.
A new coach or something, a new manager.
So remember just now I said there's the league and the cup.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you think Singapore did in the Malaysia Cup in 1993?
So Singapore, I think we won the league, but then we lost the cup, right? We didn't get to the finals. Of
Terence, you're not paying attention. This
No, we
1993 they
got
got
back to the league.
promoted.
got promoted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did
Then
we
they-
get to the finals or semi-finals of the Malaysia Cup?
Yeah, we did get
Yeah.
to the final.
Okay.
And we played Kedah.
Yeah, and we lost.
And we lost 2-0.
I remember very
Kala.
clearly. Yeah.
Yeah, and like we talked about the fluidity of the players, right? We said 1993 started with the attack of Fandi, Sundram, Abbasad, and Alistair Edwards. Can you guess who was playing for Kedah in the Malaysia Cup against Singapore in 1993? Remember the Malaysia Cup final comes at the end of the year.
Alistair Edwards.
It was Sundram.
Sundram, yeah, Sundram.
He
Yeah.
went back to Kedah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I mean, again, couldn't find any literature about why he started the year playing for Singapore. By the end of the year, he was playing for Kedah.
Was it like a
against
club
Singapore.
contract thing? Like if you're on loan, you cannot play
But he wasn't on loan.
against. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he used to play for Kedah. Did very well in the league, but the cup he ended up playing in the final against Singapore, and Singapore lost 2-0 lah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean that's why it's interesting to think about how that at that time, I mean, it was like part and parcel of football. It was almost a very mature way of thinking about football. Okay, these are all players. They play for different clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Singaporean, but he's playing for Kedah against Singapore. I don't think he was like victimized or like shat on lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happened in 1993, and then so the crowds came back. The player belief all returned, and they were playing good football lah. And they were called the Dream Team. So then, what do you think happened in 1994?
Killer. Given how it's the dream team 1994, they probably won the league and they won the cup with Fandi back as well.
So I mean, yeah lah, that one obvious lah. That one everyone know lah, Joakim. Okay, maybe what happened before 1994?
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
There was a huge bust up with the new coach. I remember. I remember that Alistair Edwards moved to Selangor, I believe, with Ken Warden, then the coach as well.
Yeah.
He was appointed Singapore coach. Then suddenly I think right before the season started or early on in the season,
Some disagreement.
some disagreement. He quit and then he joined Selangor instead. So it looked like everything was like in shambles, basically.
Yeah, it was. So I mean, before we get to that, because he actually quit 5 days before the 1994 season started. But right after the 1992 season, 1993
okay.
season, he was brought in to become the new head coach for Singapore. And back then, he was the former Malaysian national team coach, and he was known for being like a slave driver lah. Super intense trainings, super high focus on physical conditioning, and basically an authoritarian lah. And he came in, and when you listen to people like Stephen Tan, Nazri Nasir, Lee Man Hon talk about the training, right? They said they ran like dogs lah. Even during fasting month, lah, no break, no. But when they talk about how it was like playing, a lot of them were not the happiest with how it was going.
Yeah.
Because it was very tense.
Okay.
But on hindsight, they said the foundation that he put for physical fitness was a key factor in what happened next lah. But you're right. 5 days before the league started, he quit. And I saw one interview of him, I think being interviewed by the reporters, and he said the reason I left here is because you treat the coaches like you all are like you don't give them any breathing space. Sometimes I just want 30 minutes after a game to think, but no, you're like dogs. You come on the coach, and he was very unhappy, which was surprising because he had been in Malaysia Cup football for a long time already, and I don't know, Singapore media apparently was not the most welcoming,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then Douglas Moore entered the fray. Do you all recall what Douglas Moore was doing before that?
I think he was a technical director or something like that.
Wow,
was it?
Terence, not bad, huh, Terence?
I grew up with this.
This is a trivia quiz. You'll win everything. Well
But I mean,
done,
his first few
Terence.
answers were terrible.
Because the questions were not framed in the easy way to answer.
Okay, hey, don't blame the questions, okay? But before we get to Douglas Moore, like what Patrick Ang did to bring back Fandi, right? Ken Warden did for one player as well. Can you all guess which player or not?
Sundram.
Oh no, Sundram, he was not part of the 94 Dream Team.
Okay.
Do you recall? So just now, if you think about it, Singapore went to Kedah during the Malaysia Cup final. They lost 2-0.
Yeah.
And apparently their defense and all was not the best, and they lacked experience at the back.
David Lee.
Yeah.
He brought David Lee back.
Yeah.
The keeper,
Again, I didn't know he had been retired for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
So this one, hearing from an interview with David Lee, he said Ken Warden called him like the day after he was appointed head coach and said, "Will you come back and help me?" And he said, okay, like he had been out for 2 years. He came back, and apparently the first few trainings, Ken Warden called him a whale.
A whale.
Yeah, a whale.
In a good way or a bad way?
bad
Like
way, bad way.
billion dollar whale kind of like you're so
Negative
valuable to us.
motivation to drop some pounds.
Bad way,
drop
bad
some
way,
weight.
bad way. So he came back, but he had to get his fitness back in order. But do you all know how much of a legend David Lee was or not?
Having met him a couple of times.
Oh.
Yeah, no, honestly, like sometimes you have all these charity games where all the ex-players will join us for a match and all that. So having met him a couple of times, this man has aura. He walks into rooms like, "Hey everyone," and like, wow, David Lee's here.
Why?
No, I think he just commands that presence, and
Is he big as well? Like big and tall?
I wouldn't call him a whale. He's just
Tall,
I'm in nowhere to call him that. Yeah, he's tall. He has that presence.
Yeah.
And the name David Lee was a name that in primary school, whoever plays keeper, go and be David Lee, go David Lee. So he became like a natural legend to us. But the backstory behind on why he's a legend, aside from making fantastic saves and all that, maybe you can enlighten us, Mr. Haresh.
No what? Sorry.
But backstory of David Lee.
No, but I remember he had this aura also because of like his hair. It was like long flowing hair, like David Seaman, kind of like center parted, like big hair, right? And then back then goalkeepers would wear really baggy jerseys as well. So they just looked huge. And you always felt like, wow, this guy's presence in the goal he'll protect your goal.
Yeah, and apparently he shouted a lot at his defenders. Yeah, he was famous for doing that.
Good lah,
Yeah. So before he came back, right, he played with Singapore FA and appeared over 160 times. He played for multiple clubs. He won the inaugural S-League and Singapore Cup double, but that came after the 94 Dream Team. But he was also part of the team that won the Malaysia Cup in 1980.
Yeah.
So only he and Fandi were players from that team.
I see.
So when he came back, it was in some way, again, it goes back to how building up this team, right, felt like a very concerted effort. From 92 to 93, they're like, okay, this is the lowest point. Let's bring back the most talented footballers.
Yeah.
Let's get these very highly qualified foreigners. Let's get in a coach who can whip these people into shape.
Yeah.
They lose the final 2-0 to Kedah. They realize their goalie and the back presence not the strongest. Who can we bring back? Let's bring back David Lee. It's really like bringing the Avengers back.
But in some way, it's like, we all, kids of the 80s, we basically grew up through this barren time of like Singapore football, right?
Yeah.
So we never really understood what it meant to get someone like David Lee or Fandi back in the team. But I'm guessing people who experienced the joy of 1980, it must have been like, wow, the Kallang Roar is back, right?
And it's like the Man U fans now, you know? We see...
Well, who's back?
Oh, no.
Okay,
No, Man U fans not back yet. Man U not back
when
yet.
Ferguson called back Paul Scholes.
Paul Scholes.
Or Ronaldo coming back, right?
Yeah, okay, that was a great moment. We're like, all right, I'm going to win the league. Look what happened.
Yeah.
Yes!
I mean, I was saying more that after 80s, like Singapore football went over a cliff.
Okay.
So in some way, anyone who's been supporting a club or a country that has success, then boom. But you're right, like I never thought about about it that way also. All three of us, we grew up in the 80s, but it's like football was not the most successful at that point in time. So I only remember the whole country being excited in the early 90s, but it feels like in the 60s, 70s, 80s, it was huge. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that was the bonding activity, football.
Yeah,
the boys
exactly.
at least.
Yeah, it was. Like, do you remember what sort of like footballs you all used to play with in school besides footballs? Besides balls?
Anything that can be crushed into a ball,
Yeah.
we'll use it. Newspaper, foolscap paper, anything, we'll play it. Yeah.
Water bottle.
Yeah, water bottle, yes.
Yeah.
Pong fruit. Yeah.
Pong fruit.
Yeah.
You sure you play football or not?
Yes.
Pong fruit.
What's
you
a pong fruit?
You don't know? Are you sure? Have you been to Botanic
guy,
Gardens
this
before? You
guy.
don't even know.
What's a pong fruit?
It's a fruit.
You're googling pong fruit.
Oh, pong fruit. The seberang or dalam lah.
No one calls it sebrau dalam. Okay?
Pong fruit. Okay, verified. So now, you think about it, all this concerted effort brought back the players. 1993 was damn smooth. Then 5 days before the league starts, Ken Warden disappears and then Douglas Moore steps in.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about the dream team, do you remember what the personality of Douglas Moore was? You know? Like, if you all had to harbor a guess.
I mean, as a technical director, he's definitely much more of a Ralph Rangnick kind of
Yeah.
character, right?
Or like
Okay,
a
for people who don't
disciplinarian.
know Ralph.
Oh, yeah. Basically, a much more technical, person rather than a very motivational kind of person.
Horrible guess again. So basically, technical, yes. But apparently, he was a big contrast to Ken Warden. So Ken Warden was a disciplinarian, whipped them into shape. Douglas Moore apparently was calm, approachable, supportive. And when you listen to the players talk, right, they said last time people never used to joke around.
Yeah.
Because of Ken Warden. But the moment Douglas Moore came, people are more relaxed. People can have a bit more fun. But it's interesting to see because amongst all the interviews I watched, all of them said what Ken Warden did as a base was very important. Well, it's almost he gave them the fitness to start enjoying themselves. And then Douglas Moore came in and he was technical director. He took over 5 days before the league started. So 1994, it starts and they go off to a banger. They win their first 4 games. And I think Abbas Saad scored like 3 or 4 goals in the first 4 games and they were getting momentum. But midway through the season, they started facing some issues. There was some injuries and they started to falter a bit.
Okay.
But that's where having a team that was actually quite diverse. Like, you mentioned the players just now. Who do you mention? Fandi Ahmad, Lim Tong Hai,
Stephen Tan,
Sundramoorthy,
David Lee.
Lee. Terence, what about you?
Jung Jung.
Jung, yes.
Borhan Abu Sama.
Lee Man Hon.
Yeah.
Lee Man Hon V. Selvaraj.
Yeah, V. Selvaraj.
Yeah. So when you think about it, like the nice thing, which commentators also often commented, was that it was a mix of ethnicities and ages. I think Lee Man Hon was like 17 when he started playing for the national team, and he was one of the young sparks. And apparently, one big thing that came out, both from Ken Warden's disciplinarian approach as well as Douglas Moore, was that the team was damn tight. There was no cliques. Apparently, they all ate together.
Wow.
They hung out together. They treated each other like family.
Yeah.
Which I mean, like, it's like you watch Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like Douglas Moore was the Ted Lasso.
But one more point, then how about Alistair Edwards? He also left the team that season.
He left the team. But I think didn't feel like there was any bad blood. It's just like in the same fluidity of the club, he left.
I see.
And because their forward line, like with Abbas Saad and Fandi, became like the pinnacle of the forward line, and everyone else like really supported them and built up the team. So it started. By then, Abbas Saad, Jung Jung, and Michael Vanna were fully integrated into the squad culture. But 1994 also was interesting for a bunch of reasons, which I will get to, involving Michael Vanna. But basically, by mid-season, there were injuries, the younger players were less experienced, and they slipped to 6th. So mid-table. And the thing, if you imagine like, Singapore, Malaysia, the rivalry has always been there, right? What do you think the situation was like when Singapore went to play at the home games? The away games. What do you think the some of the things the players faced?
I'm very sure vulgarities, criticism, And I mean, this happened after the Dream Team 1994, right? But I'm pretty sure they had bottles of interesting liquids thrown at them. From what I remember watching on television a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, apparently even David Lee had to step further away from his goal during play to avoid the missiles. Thrown at him.
Oh, crazy.
And then there was another story they recounted where when playing away, their dressing room was just smelling of urine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
So, and then their buses, which were often supplied by Malaysian bus companies, were attacked by the Malaysian fans.
Wow.
So,
Crazy.
I mean, like now, you can imagine when countries go and travel and play, there's all this exchanging jerseys and all. I don't know how much jerseys were exchanged back then.
Yeah.
But you can imagine that also bringing the team closer together. Right. So, come August 1994, that was when the match fixing scandal broke out. And there were multiple players that were investigated, but only Michael Vanna was the one who was charged with accepting 375,000 and influencing 5 matches. So he was sacked, but he jumped bail and fled Singapore. So then what do you think the repercussions of that were on the team?
Some demerit points were awarded or something?
No demerit points. But the team, of course, they were shaken. But if you listen to interviews with the defenders, right, they all felt even more pressure because if they make a mistake, what do you think the fans will think? What do you think the authorities will think?
True. That's true.
Yeah, that it's more match fixing.
Yeah.
And along the way, we talk about the bad things that happened. You mentioned just now one thing that you thought happened in 1993, but actually culminated the most in 1994.
Oh, the song. The Dream Team song,
Yeah, it was actually an album. Do you know an album was released?
I know, but I only know of the song.
Which is what song?
The Dream Team song.
Yeah, but come on, can we sing it?
No,
Come on, everybody, feel the
power. You can feel the dream. The steam. It's the Dream
Yeah,
Team.
it's the Dream Team's team.
Then I remember every player had one line like, "My name is Lim Tong Hai. I was something
I
to
am
you."
Jang Jung.
We'll take you out. We will take you out. Yeah, it was just like an army, almost like army cheer, army
They call
song.
me the Dazzler, Sundram. He had one line as well.
Yeah, so I think there were certain songs that came out in 93, which is why Sundram featured in some of it. But the album was released in 1994, and it came out at the start of the year, so before the match fixing scandal.
Okay.
So again, you think about it, everything that happened in those few years, they realized they were not at a good state. They, brought back these legends. They found a coach to whip them into shape. There was also a whole effort that was produced by the Football Association of Singapore, FAS, to create a music album. And in this day and age, when we think about sports and all that, we say the citizens, like, when you say the fans need to support, right? But it felt right structurally, right? The whole of Singapore was behind this team.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, we all know the songs, right? I don't know whether the younger generation knows the songs, but they're still all on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful. Did you all get the jersey in 1994?
Not the jersey, but I did queue up for like the T-shirts that commemorated the Malaysia Cup winner. Yeah.
That was when? Last year?
Last year, as in after they won. Then I think in Junction 8 or something like that.
Was that when Tiger Beer were already the sponsors of the
Probably,
Singapore team?
yeah.
I remember having a baggy 90s, but I don't know from which season or which year, but there was a Tiger Beer logo
Yeah,
on
it
it.
might have been. Yeah, there was a lot of merchandise and all that going around, and you had to queue up for it. It wasn't like, it's not like you can order it online or anything.
Yeah, and even the newspaper, remember? Like, they always used to write all these articles, and like everybody knew these names by heart. Even now, the fact that we can recount these names, right, is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So that came out at the start of the year. Then there was a Michael Vanna drama. But the second half of the league, right, from 6th, Singapore won 12 out of 15 games. They closed the gap on the rivals, and by the end, they finished 2 points ahead of Kedah.
Wow. That
So
means
just 2 points.
They won the league.
They won the league.
Wow.
So they were the 1994 Malaysia League champions.
Yeah.
So already, check box one. For the Malaysia Cup run, they went on an 11-match unbeaten run.
Wow.
Which included coming from behind 3 times to draw key matches.
Wow.
In the semi-final, they faced Selangor. Why do you think this one was extra special?
Because Ken Warden was the coach.
Ken Warden was the
and
coach.
Alistair Edwards was also there.
Yeah, Ken Warden was the coach. And apparently after the game, which Singapore won, he told David Lee, maybe I shouldn't have brought you back. So they beat Selangor, and then they were going to play the Malaysia Cup final on 17 December 1994. What do you all remember in the lead up to the final?
Well, it's in general? Or,
Yeah, in
or-
general. Like, do you remember that being there? No, not even in the stadium.
The final
what it was
wasn't
like.
in Singapore. Right?
It was in Shah Alam.
Shah Alam, yes,
Shah
Alam.
in KL.
Yeah.
I do remember, I think it was very close to my birthday, sometime in December, because I was on a family staycation. And we watched it on TV, and I think I cut my birthday cake right after that.
Oh,
Sorry, Haresh, right? What's the date again?
17 December 19.
We're filming this
94.
episode on 17th of December
Literally.
2025, people.
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
amazing. Wow.
31
Did we
years.
plan this? Did we plan it? I don't know, but yes. Wow, I'm amazed. I'm amazed. I'm
yeah.
getting goosebumps now. Wow.
Yeah, that's why 17 December, exactly.
Wow.
I mean, even that date, right, it was significant for another reason. You think about 17 December 1994.
Your
No
birthday.
clue.
I don't
Yeah.
Oh, no, one of the players,
Oh, okay.
the jersey number,
Oh, Fandi.
Fundy.
It was his birthday.
No, his jersey number, 17.
17, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I just said jersey
Sorry, I
number.
thought birthday of his. Okay, fine.
yeah.
Okay.
No,
okay.
and apparently he also told the team, today, last year we lost. Today we will win because it is my lucky day lah. Because 17 his jersey number lah.
yeah.
So did you also watch the game, Joakim?
Perhaps,
Not live, ah?
Perhaps, maybe
Probably, yeah.
Oh yeah, you were like 6
on,
lah.
on television or something, maybe.
Yeah.
If they screened it on Channel 5.
But I do remember watching it, and there was a bit of. I think, when you're young, you don't really understand the concept of losing.
Yeah.
It's like losing is the end of the world, which what it felt like the year before.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of trepidation. There
A
were
lot at stake lah.
Yeah, me and my friends were all like, wow, what if Kedah is so strong and like what if they lose? And although it wasn't Kedah, it was Pahang this time.
Pahang,
Yeah.
yes.
So we did not know, like the year prior, like I don't think people expected to lose to Kedah. So I remember when that year I was really like quite nervous about the whole thing.
Yeah, and I mean, just 2 years prior, Fandi was playing for Pahang.
Yes.
And he helped them win the league and the cup.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now they were going to be playing Pahang, and it was the 41st match of the season, which was like quite a number of matches back then. Of course, now you hear in Europe they play like 55 matches and all, but back then 41 matches. And I remember watching it live on TV. But the thing that struck me, and I think a lot of the players, you hear them talk, is that there were so many Singapore fans.
Yeah.
Apparently, the number of Singapore fans outnumbered the Pahang fans.
Wow.
And there was one interview with someone who, self-proclaimed diehard fan. So he said that amongst the diehard fans in Singapore, they realized that the year before in Kedah, they were totally outnumbered by the Kedah fans. So ahead of this final in Shah Alam, right, they actually organized themselves and found all the various sources to get tickets to watch this game through Malaysian contacts and all that lah. So on one hand, you see like the football team infrastructure, they wanted to change things. The FAS and they brought in music and whatever, but even fans, right, from the ground up, they really mobilized themselves, no?
Yeah.
To the point that even the players were surprised. It's not like the players were told, okay, the fan groups are doing this. I think even the FAS might not have been aware that the fans did this. So then the game starts. Do you all remember who scored?
No, I don't.
I think I know Abbas had a big part to play. in the
Abbas
couple.
scored a hat-trick.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The first 3 goals. And then the 4th goal was none other by Fandi himself.
Yeah.
And
Had to be him.
had to be him.
Yeah.
And I mean, you see that, you listen to the replays, the commentator said it was one of the most dominant displays in a Malaysia Cup final ever, not just by Singapore. And you
Was there
see the
this very,
highlights.
but was there this very iconic goal where Abbas Sad was fouled? He rolled on the ground, and before like he even stood up, he already continued playing the ball.
It might have been the first goal
Okay.
because the first goal, he played the ball out wide and they crossed it. Nazri Nasir headed in, and I think while he was falling behind, he volleyed it into the top corner.
Okay.
Yeah, then the second goal was a long ball to Alistair Edwards, and he outran the 2 Pahang defenders and just cheekily dinked it over the keeper. And the third goal was a 1-2 with Fandi.
Yeah, I think that might have
Yeah,
been it. Because
but that one he didn't fall. Maybe
he didn't
Fandi
fall.
fell.
I know there was one, maybe it was semi-finals or something,
Yeah.
but I do remember as a kid watching that, I was like, wow, I did not know that in football you could get fouled and before you even stand up, you already like continue playing the ball.
Yeah.
And then later, I guess later I learned that, okay, there's a bit of leeway, right? The referee
Yeah,
gives
yeah.
you
The
okay.
advantage rule.
And no VAR last time also.
Oh, yeah.
No VAR.
I mean, if there was VAR back then, I think a lot of matches would be under question.
That's why.
Think about it. Yeah.
That's true.
So then you look, the 3 goals by Abbasad were amazing. The 4th goal by Fandi was great also. It was a long pass by Abbasad. And you see that, wow, it just felt like this was a magical time. Of course, what happened after that was unfortunate, where Singapore, I think we got booted out of the Malaysia Cup, in part because of the scandal of the match fixing. And then there was renewed focus on the S League. And I remember also signing up for Tampines Rovers fan club in the first year of the S League and watching it.
S League, man.
Yeah.
Home United. SAF Warriors.
Yeah.
Woodlands, Wellington.
Woodlands, Sembawang Rangers. Kallang United.
Yeah.
Any other Hougang Marine or
That one came later, I think.
oh Sengkang
Hougang
Marine
later.
or was it Hougang Marine? I forgot which one it was.
I
But
think
yeah.
Sengkang also later.
No,
before
so
BTS.
by default, because I live in Bishan, I was a Home United fan.
Oh, Home United.
Back in the time of Ekma Gonsalves.
Yes.
Wow, this guy.
That's true.
So I remember, I think Home U and SCF Warriors had this rivalry going on.
Yeah.
So whenever they showed up in Bishan, I was like, hey, scold each other, you know. I was like a 10-year-old kid holding a sign saying home. I think they were playing for, it's not the S League, but like a Singapore Cup, like the cup equivalent of the football contest, right?
Yeah.
And then I think Home U were down on aggregate. And they're supposed to win that game. So all of us brought signs and students paid $1 for a ticket at the Bishan Stadium back then. So I was holding a sign saying, homie, don't give up. You know, come on, guys. Yeah, we're also happy. But I don't think they won. I think they got eliminated. But they won that game, but not enough on aggregate to proceed on here.
So you know, hearing all this, like, how does it make you feel?
The sentiment of the fans rallying for the dream team to Shah Alam Stadium, I feel like it's slowly happening now, but to Saudi Arabia in 2027. I mean, we brought this. I love this guy. I call him my anger translator, Jarvis. This diehard football fan of Singapore. He brought about 987 because he was there for almost every game. So you say the Shah Alam Stadium had the Singapore fans mobilizing, cheering for them. So they were like the singer brigade of then to what we have the singer brigade now, who are drumming, they're singing the songs at the national stadium. So I asked him, like, are you going to go to Saudi Arabia? He said, for sure, we're going to mobilize the whole brigade and hopefully people can join us and cheer for our boys. To which I want to know when the tournament is happening so I can take leave and go and watch some games there in Saudi Arabia.
But actually, I think this one, you are uniquely positioned to answer it. I've always wondered, when you're standing in the middle of the pitch, and then like a stadium full of people are screaming and shouting and motivating you. How does that feel? Is it like nerve-wracking, or does it make you like even more motivated and like you get in a zone, or what? What does it feel to be in the middle?
For me, it's different. They're not cheering for me.
Oh, really?
Because I'm not a player. I'm not a football player. No.
Joakim Gomez.
You've led the Kallang Roar.
Exactly.
Right.
I think it's more of leading them to cheering for what's going to happen. So as an NDP host, you are setting the stage for the parade and ceremony, for the performers. It's your duty, and everyone thinks it's easy to host NDP. It's not. It's really more than just make some noise or Kallang Wave or Malaysia Singapore. No. You have to make sure the audience is in the right mood, they are warmed up correctly, they're in the correct zone to experience the joy that is NDP. And it's either 4 or 5 hosts of different races and backgrounds coming together to work together as a team to get the crowd going. So we are setting the energy. They're not cheering for us per se. I mean, if they want to cheer me, please, thank you. I'll be very happy. It's a nice pat on the back. But
the Joakim brigade.
No. Ultimately, NDP is not about you. It's about the thousands of people and performers and even our soldiers and the defense. I mean, the defense contingents, there you go, that make up the parade and all that.
But I mean, that energy of 50,000, what does that feel?
I haven't experienced that. The last time I hosted something at the new National Stadium was in 2015. It was the official opening, Youth Celebrate. So they had different secondary schools, and that alone is loud already. I think the closest I can think of to that same noise level is when the P5s watch the previews, or over at the Padang or the float at Marina Bay, which is now going to be NS Square very soon. Yeah, when they scream in unison or when they sing the songs, like for the last 2 years, we had Benjamin King with Not Alone, right? The moment he pops up and the screams and the P5 kids go and they sing every single word, goosebumps.
Really? Yeah.
It's really
so
goosebumps.
Imagine, like you had to, you don't play football professionally, but you run a lot. Imagine if you had to run like 2.4 with that Do you think you'll do your personal best?
Will it make you freeze up or will it like motivate you? That's the question.
There will definitely be three different thoughts. One is everyone's cheering for me. I better not screw up. I better do my PB. Second is like, hey, everyone's cheering for me. Yeah, I know. I'm actually. Third is okay. Make sure that don't freeze up. Don't let it get to you. How do I, in a good way, block out the noise as well and focus on my breathing, focus on my runs and all that. Yeah, if I were an athlete and people were cheering for me, yeah.
Terence, when was the time you had a group of people cheer for you the most?
Let me.
Your wedding.
your wedding,
or our live show when we do live show. But I think the stadium, the acoustics of the stadium are totally different, right? Where it's just surround sound, and I can imagine like there must be something visceral about feeling like people's the rumble, right? People scream for you. So. I mean, maybe only in more recent years when I've gone to watch matches live, whether it's Premier League or whatever, then I realized, there is something about the energy in the stadium that really carries down to the pitch.
You can never beat the energy in a stadium, man. Whether it's Old Trafford or even Jalan Besar, for example. To hear thousands of people screaming for that same goal that you're celebrating or same goal that you want your team to achieve, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, just doing research for this episode also, you watch the clips of the team walking out, right, in Shah Alam. Wow, the crowd goes crazy. And, I mean, when you see a crowd is a crowd, you don't look at all this color, ethnicity, race, religion, everything. It is just a Singapore crowd. And I mean, like what you said about Jarvis saying now it's slowly coming back. It feels like, I mean, if you look like Gavin was not the sure fire head coach. He was not the shoe-in, right?
He was the interim.
He became head coach, and then we got a good result. And it feels like, looking at this story, yes, the players were amazing, but it was the whole effort that really came together from authorities, from the people, from the players, from the coach, everything.
You know, I remember watching his interview with you guys on Yalabat, and the one thing that he mentioned was quite similar to what you mentioned about the previous coach leaving 5 days before the actual tournament, the new coach, right? Because I'm very glad he mentioned how the previous structure by the Japanese coach was set in place. All he did was build upon it to improve it. So could this be a story of history repeating itself?
Goosebumps.
You never know, man. We do well in the AFC, progress to the quarterfinals or even the knockout rounds. I'll be very happy already.
And I mean, that's why the story of the dream team, they came from being relegated in 1992 and in 2 years, So that's why, we talk about, it's impossible. We are 18 months away. Who knows what could happen.
It is technically 2 years. Think about it,
So that's why this story was like, hey, shit. I mean, it really takes an effort of every stakeholder. And Terence, you feel like you want to play with your pong fruit again or not?
Of course, I'm gonna go find a pong tree to show you. Got to show you first what a pong tree looks like.
What does pong fruit now sound a bit ticklish?
I mean, you don't play with your pong fruit?
No, man.
Oh, no?
He's classy that way.
Oh yeah, man. See, just talking about football, gets everyone in a good mood,
Yeah.
Do you remember the loudest roar you heard at the National Stadium that isn't NDP? Just a fun question for the both of you before I give you my answer.
I think I went to the opening of the SEA Games. When was SEA Games last held in Singapore?
2015 was it, or 2015?
Yeah, I mean, I went to some opening of some games and I felt, whoa, this is like magic, magic.
Okay.
I think actually the recent football matches, actually the acoustics of the stadium now I think have been worked out, and being in the crowd, and then when your Singapore scores, everybody just stands up. I mean, I was with my toddler son, and first time experiencing it, and he cried after that because it was just too overwhelming for him.
But cry in a good way or just scared?
No, he was shocked.
Just to give you all my answer, and it's a moment that I'll never ever forget. 2001, Indra Shadan scoring against Manchester United to make it 1-1.
Wow.
And you had 50,000 people watching Manchester United, right? But at that moment, everyone was like, that moment lives rent free in my head. I was 13. My dad brought me last minute. We had tickets. We went. I was so excited. And watching Indra Shadan score, and everyone just forgot that we were Man U fans. We just cheered for Singapore. And they were like, yes!
And that was like the dream Man U team.
The one that won 2001 was they just won treble 2 years before that.
then sans a few players, I think. That was, I think, Van Nistelrooy joining United for a while. And Bates played as a midfielder.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know whether that was an insult or a you know, like a troll. Or...
I mean, he was an eccentric player, right? He wanted to do all these things, right? Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, just exciting times for Singapore football.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, we look back at 1994. It was a wonderful time, but not saying we can't get that back, you know. Yeah. So cautious optimism.
33 years later, let's see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully you also heard some things that you have not heard before. And remember, if you heard it here first, you heard it on Tell You First.
Tell You First is produced by Ministry of Funny and brought to you by Mediacorp. This episode was hosted and produced by Terence, Chia and Haresh Tilani and featured Joakim Gomez. Sound engineering by Tristan Yek. Special thanks to Danny Cody from Mediacorp. And if you're a fan of our work, you can follow the podcast on the Me Listen app, Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can also watch this episode first on the Me Listen app or on YouTube 1 week later through the Mediacorp Entertainment channel. Links to these will be in the episode description. Thank you for listening and see you on the next episode of Tell You First.